See what had fans in Diddle? Well, hysterical.
From a big weekend in Texas, Travis Hudson gave us a mic check and insight into this weekend's contest for WKU volleyball. And Hilltopper football lost its second consecutive game. Can they shift momentum at home on Saturday?
That'll be a big storyline. Plus, the WKU soccer complex has turned into a fountain of youth of sorts. Dave, let's dive on in.
Right.
With all the action from around Warren County and your WKU Hilltoppers, this is the Extra Point.
Dave, it's that time of year where you can just sense something in the air.
I know exactly what you mean, Josh. I can sense a football, basketball, baseball, volleyball.
We get the point, Dave. There's a diverse set of sports here on the Hill. I'm Josh Holland.
And I'm David Holloway, and Coach is calling out the kicking unit. This is the Extra Point. The Tide rolling out quickly on the Hilltoppers this past weekend in the Sunshine State. Brandon Dowdy threw 3 touchdowns and dealt the rock to Leon Allen for a score, leading the Tops to a halftime lead of 31-14. Contributing to the Hilltoppers' season-high 83 points in the second quarter. But the Tops used up all their secret stuff in the first half as Florida Atlantic shut out WKU in the fourth quarter and surfed to a 45-38 victory. On the season, WKU has been outscored 97-131 in the second half this season.
The Hilltoppers wrapped up their week of preparation for Old Dominion today. Extra Point reporter Brittany Del Barba met with Jeff Brom after practice concluded.
I'm out here at Smith Stadium where the Tops just wrapped up their final practice before hosting Old Dominion. The Tops are coming off their 4th loss of the season after falling to Florida Atlantic last week on the road. Here's what Coach Jeff Brom had to say about the Tops' preparation for the game on Saturday.
I think our guys will respond. They've had a good week of practice. I don't think anyone's too down, even though obviously we're ticked off. But it is what it is. You got to deal with it and come out fighting, come out swinging. I think our guys will do that.
Coach Brom's message to the team is having to finish in the second half. In order to do that, they're going to have to shut down Old Dominion's quarterback, Tyler Heineke, winner of the Walter Payton Award, which is equivalent to the Heisman at the FCS level. Next, on offense, they have those 2 running backs with Leon Allen and Ace Wells bringing some extra speed and balancing out the running attack. Now it's a big game from quarterback Brandon Dowdy, who has the opportunity to break his own single-season passing yards record. Kickoff is set for 3 p.m. here at Smith Stadium. From Smith Stadium, for the Extra Point, I'm Brittany Del Barba.
With Halloween right around the corner, we've got something that will cause nightmares for weeks: the Hilltoppers' defense. The Tops have allowed at least 26 points in the second half in all 4 of their losses, and in 3 of those losses, they held a lead of at least 10 points, the largest being this past weekend at FAU. The Toppers allowed over 500 yards of offense in the second half this Saturday, and are getting ready to host an Old Dominion team that averages 260 yards through the air, 152 yards on the ground, but they're only averaging 15 points in the final 2 quarters.
We need to get better, obviously, especially in the second half. So that's kind of been our focus on is finishing practice strong and making sure we're doing the little things.
Well, as we know, WKU is number 2 in the nation in passing, which is incredible, judging by the defense, has not been doing so well.
Yeah, and Coach Holt talked about the little things. Well, when you don't do the little things, you give up big plays, and that was evidenced when WKU gave up the game-winning touchdown on a 61-yarder against FAU on Saturday.
Not only that, they also gave up a bunch of big plays against MTSU, UAB. In the past few games, they've given up a lot of big plays, and the defense hasn't looked very impressive as of late.
It's not always for lack of talent either, David, because there's some fast guys. Charles Aworo ran track, and Cam Thomas is a good cornerback on this defense.
Not only that, Brian Shorter is a great pass rusher. He gets in the backfield, he makes the big tackles, and which is great for this defense.
So if WKU wants to avoid hysteria, I guess you could say, they need to pick up defensive efforts on Saturday. A new year, a new conference. The Lady Toppers team, basketball team that is, took the floor for the unofficial first time as a member of Conference USA last weekend. Highlights included player intros, of course, as well as the return of Alexis Govan. We'll see Miss Govan right here and then soon in our studio. She goes up with a right-handed layup off the glass. She finished with 15 points. Micah Jones didn't want to be showed up, however. She drives and puts one off the glass herself. That bucket was 2 of her 7 points. Sophomore Bria Gaines, who was big her freshman year, also tallied a few points with 12. Now, off this Alexis Govan dish, who faked out our cameraman, Bria finished her night with 12 points.
It was a lot of fun. I couldn't stop smiling. I think my teammates knew. I was just excited just to be here with them. It didn't matter what happened or anything. I just wanted to be on the court with them and just feel it again.
The ladies weren't the only ones to electrify the Hilltopper faithful. Coach Harper and his squad strutted their stuff onto the hardwood to showcase new talent as well as their vets. The red team jumped out to an early lead and never looked back. And you know this guy named Trincy Jackson? Well, Trincy Jackson did what Trincy Jackson does. And what goes up must come down. Coach Harper's youngsters were also impressive. Sophomore Ben Lawson scored 19 points on 9 field goals for the white team, while freshman forward Justin Johnson also added 14 points and 13 boards.
It was the best experience I've ever had in my life, honestly. It was fun. The crowd was excited. It was just a joy that I can't explain.
I mean, this is a great event to show the recruits. I mean, it's a good selling point, got some fans out, and it gives them something to look forward to when they come as the incoming freshmen. There's a lot of excitement going around right now, but we got to win a lot of games so people can come back.
And on Saturday, I took to the stands for the fans' perspective of what happened on the court. For that and more, you can always log on to newschannel12live.com/extrapoint. And a conference loss and a match win on the road added a road full of bumps and spikes for WKU's volleyball team. We'll see how they plan to ace their weekend games up next.
And mentioned earlier, the Lady Topper soccer team used young talent to take down an old rival on Friday. More on the team's new additions next. It sure was an exciting weekend for the Lady Toppers as they faced off against old foe Middle Tennessee. In a game that was decided in double overtime, the Lady Toppers had a rough start. MTSU scored the first goal, but quickly rebounded to tie it up. The game went back and forth in regulation as it ended 3-3, sending it to overtime. Sophomore midfielder Haley Baldridge scored her first goal of the season and the last goal of the game, clinching the win for WKU. The WKU soccer team has a lot of new faces this season. Reporter Dakota Sherrick takes a look at how these new members have given this year's roster a historical impact.
This season, the Lady Topper soccer team has one of the youngest rosters in program history.
It's gone really well. We've had our highs and our lows, but our highs have been really high, so it's really exciting for a young team like us.
Several new members joined the team this season, and head coach Jason Nidell prepped the upperclassmen for their arrival last spring.
We worked on all kinds of different things. Mostly about communication and communicating with the younger players and kind of bringing them into the fold and showing them what was important to be a part of our program.
Since the WKU team got 10 new freshmen this season, the upperclassmen agreed that it was important to focus on leadership.
Just because there would be so many of them. So it was really crucial for us to lay out a foundation.
In addition to developing strong leaders, Coach Nidell also wanted to switch things up by having class captains.
18 of our team are freshmen or sophomores, and only 4 are juniors and seniors. So, if you have a junior and a senior captain, then you're really not representing your team.
The freshman captain is Allison Leone, who never expected to begin her college career as the starting goalie.
Well, it's a lot of pressure. It's pretty nerve-wracking, but I was really excited, and it was an awesome opportunity.
Overall, she thinks the team has found their footing.
How we've all come together, we had a rough patch a couple weeks ago, but we fought through, and we've been on a high road ever since, and hopefully we can continue that.
Despite the rough patch this season, Coach Nidell remains positive.
We feel like we have 2 fantastic recruiting classes in our freshmen and sophomores. And, yes, short term we knew there were going to be some growing pains with it, but we also knew that long term was the best thing for our program.
Reporting for Extra Point, I'm Dakota Sherrick.
Tomorrow against Louisiana Tech, the Lady Toppers continue their quest to be one of the top 8 to make it to the conference tournament.
Travis Hudson and his volleyball squad lost their first conference match of 2014, but they also won their 20th match of the season last weekend. WKU fell to UTSA 3-1 in a battle of undefeateds, but they bounced back nicely on a Sunday sweep against UTEP. On the weekend, senior Heather Boyan knocked 23 kills, including 14 against the Miners, with freshman setter Jessica Lucas dishing out 80 assists. Haley Bodway and Alyssa Kavanaugh recorded each one double-digit kill match on the weekend, and the Lady Toppers look to continue their efforts showed on Sunday in their weekend slate against the Floridas.
The
The thing I like most about Sunday is it was a full match where we played with a good intensity level, and I think it showed. I don't know how many teams we've beaten in the teens 3 straight games all year long, and that's something that this team needs to do.
AU baseball kicked off the first 3 games of their annual Red and Black Inter-Squad Fall World Series over the weekend. After giving up 3-0 lead in Game 1, the Black team fought back with a 6-4 victory in Game 2 to take a 1-0 lead in the series. In Game 3, the Red squad rode the arm of junior lefty Austin King, who struck out 8 and retired 13 straight batters in a 3-2 win to take a 2-1 series lead. Red clinched the Fall World Series with a 3-2 win today, but Game 5 will still be played tomorrow just for the heck of it. WKU swim team's winning tradition has included a generation of one Kansas family. Reporter Dominique Jeffries has the story.
Diving into a college swim team with a reputable winning tradition may overwhelm any student. But for one WKU student, swimming at the college level is a family affair.
And my mom, I guess when she was younger, was just jogging by a country club meet in our neighborhood. And she just kind of liked what she saw. She thought all the kids were really cute and decided to throw my sister in it.
The Musser family of 7 were each introduced to the sport at an early age.
And my sister started to become pretty good at swimming. And then my brother under her just kind of picked it up too, and it kind of just went down the line.
In a sport that's as much team participation as it is individual, freshman Hannah Musser is taking the time to make a name for herself on the team.
Having 3 older brothers and then 2 younger brothers all surrounding her, I think she is pushed to stand out a little bit, make a name for herself. But Hannah's always been she's always had character. She had no problem fitting in with a group.
I try not to be I guess as controlling as possible, because you came to college to be able to make your own decisions without someone always telling you what you should do.
Despite trying to do her own thing, Hannah says she wouldn't trade sharing her college experience with her brothers for anything.
That's one of the best parts about swimming, is looking down at the other end and seeing your teammates there, but knowing your siblings are there too, and the fact that they're proud of you is one of the best feelings.
Reporting for News Channel 12, I'm Dominique Jeffries.
If you'd like to see the Musser family swim together this season, the Top's next meet is on November 1st at WKU against IUPUI. And after this week Iris had, it seems like a done deal to name her the hero on the hill.
See what you did there, Dave. The forward is the first Lady Topper to earn Conference USA Player of the Week this season, as the league named her their Offensive Player of the Week after scoring 2 goals in WKU's 4-3 victory over MTSU on Friday.
And Dunn now has 3 goals in her last 3 games and looks to continue her hot streak as the regular season comes to an end.
Seeing as her dynamic performance led WKU from 9th in the conference to 6th, we might as well make her our hero on the hill.
You know what? Why not?
Now, David, while Bowling Green continues to keep their battles within Warren County limits, South Warren, they'll enjoy a week off after their 9th straight win. Prep Sports, next. Warren Central welcomed in the Purples last Friday, and the Dragons were not able to protect their lair. The Bowling Green Purples continued their fast-paced offense. They're able to strike the Dragons both on the ground and through the air. Jacob Yates led the BG rushing arsenal. He carried home 133 yards rushing. Dragons QB Chance Sanklin could not catch a break all evening. He only tallied 97 yards on 9 completions and this lone interception when he was targeting running back Colin Burnham. Warren Central picked up their 3rd loss of the season as the Purples stole the show, 34-13. Moving out to Nashville Road, South Warren played host to Monroe County last outing, and the Spartans, they weren't too hospitable. The Falcons' long night started early as quarterback Lincoln Arnett had one stolen away by the Spartan defense and taken all the way back to the end zone on the first drive of the game. Coach Brandon Smith had his offense running on all cylinders. The Spartans rounded out the evening with a total of 362 rushing yards and found the end zone 3 times on those runs. The Falcons went home packing with a loss of 14-49.
Logan County High School football is looking to break an unlucky streak at Friday at home in their home game against Warren Central. The Cougars are on the prowl to top after an 8-game losing streak so far this season. While Warren Central's Dragons are away, Warren East Raiders will play Breckenridge County, looking to up their 4-4 record. Bowling Green High will then face the Greenwood Gators at home, defending their own 7-1 record. And after winning the district title last week, the Bowling Green Purples return to the field. The Purples would face off against the Trojans of Barron County in the region semifinal. BG High was able to find the net first and maintain the momentum throughout the game. In the end, it was the Purples who were victorious, outscoring the Trojans 10-0. Next up for Bowling Green, as they will match up against the South Warren Spartans in the regional final, a game Coach Craig Widener has been looking forward to all season.
Honest with you, we've been preparing for the region final since February. We started weightlifting and we ran around all summer. We conditioned all summer and preseason, and then the regular season. I mean, it's all preparation for the next game, whenever that is, and that just happens to be the region final. So we won't change a whole lot. We're just going to go out and do what we need to do.
17-year-old Jerez took the corner.
Tonight, South Warren also took the field to face the Scotties of Glasgow in the other region semifinal. The Spartans began opening the scoreboard early in the game, and the Scotties were not able to make a comeback and were defeated and eliminated. South Warren faces Bowling Green in the region final tonight. While slam dunks have been known to drop a few jaws, when it happens here in BG, we have to take notice. In the Hysteria Dunk Contest, Tracy Jackson on the left side of the court drives towards the hole, slams it off the back rim, and then it comes back into the shot. Jackson and the rest of his team go crazy. Let's slow it down for you. Jackson up, through the legs, back rim. Where's the ball? There it is. Back through the net. Tracy Jackson, we toast to your jam as this week's jaw dropper. You okay there, David?
I had to adjust my jaw on that one. That was incredible. Wait, hang on. I'm getting a message from the coach. He says, keep the offense on the field. We are going for 2.
As we do every week to end the show.
Yes, sir.
Antonio Andrews for the Tennessee Titans is a big story this week for WKU and the Hilltoppers because it's yet another Hilltopper football player that's on an active roster. He joins Jonathan Dowling, Jack Doyle, Bobby Rainey, and Quintera Smith, as you mentioned earlier today. And so that's a big deal for WKU football.
It's quite a big deal indeed. I mean, WKU is not really known as a football school. They're more known as basketball and volleyball and baseball and softball are getting up there. But now that football's up there, we're becoming a very athletic school, and I'm very impressed with that.
So WKU will have a chance to see some of their players on the field on Sunday. But more importantly for Jeff Brom and his team, they'll be worried on Fikes Field on Saturday when Old Dominion comes to town.
That's going to be a really good game, Josh. And one thing I noticed on ODU is their running backs are very good. Gerard Johnson is one of their running backs. He's rushing 450 yards rushing, averaging 5 yards a carry. That is very impressive. And also their backup running backs, even better stats. He's got 253 yards rushing. Oh, excuse me, that's the wrong stat. I'm talking WKU averaging about 253 yards per game. That's not that impressive, but ODU.
Well, the problem is it's not just defensive giving up rushing yards, but they're giving up passing yards. So it really doesn't matter. You pick your poison if you're an opposing offense. The key, and coaches have talked about this, is not to stop the opposing offense. It's to get key fourth downs and to get key stops in the red zone to be successful.
It's very key, but WKU has really been struggling in the defensive territory all year, and I'm just waiting for something to give and wait for Coach Holt to at least try a different defensive scheme. And maybe it's the scheme that's not working. It's not the players. We all know that.
Well, there's a lot of youth on the team, and I think that there has to be something said for that, but there is some experience in the secondary with Cam Thomas, and so it'll really be up to guys like him and Gavin Rocker if they are to lead this team into the promised land, I guess you can say, a bowl game for WKU.
Or in conference championship would be just as good.
Or conference championship as well, Dave. The play clock is winding down, and we sure as heck don't want to get one of those delay of game penalties.
We can't afford the 5 yards, Josh, but for coverage from Bowling Green and around the other areas after the whistle,